Everything you've just shared is a process of what you now need to keep sharing more of. There's a lot of people who will see themselves in you.
Forgiveness freed me. It helped me.
Your emotions are your superpower. There she is.
Hi.
So Rosie's part of my Movement Makers program, and part of that is we do an IG Live together. So how can I help? What do you got?
I am working how to serve.
Okay.
So 4 years ago, I was like driving my car, asking myself the question of like, why am I so different? Why, like, what makes me different? And a few weeks later, it popped up and said, forgive the man that killed your father. And that was like, wow, we haven't talked about him in years. And 4 years ago, I wrote a letter to him telling him that me and my mom forgave him. And going through that process of writing him and getting to know him, it was such a huge relief to forgive, but also helping him to forgive himself was even, it was beautiful. It was painful, but helping him to forgive himself from the shame and guilt that he had was an incredible feeling. And now that I have done that work with him, and also I want to work with him after he gets out of prison, since right now I'm helping him. I wrote a couple of letters to the governor, asking them to, my mind is blank.
No, that's okay. You're doing great. You're doing great. Keep going.
Because he got life in prison without parole, and now he might get out of prison next year.
Because of your work and your letters?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, you're doing great.
And now the next step is, how do I start this next process of this role, this journey of going into online and helping serve others?
Because you want other people to forgive as well and teach them how?
Yes.
Okay, so let's start with why is that so important to you?
Because it gave me this fulfillment of just, going through life and just trying all these other things. I was unfulfilled. Like, there's a part of me was like, oh, there's more to life. And doing that work, writing to him and just getting to know him and helping him out, it felt really good. It touched my heart.
What was weighing on you? Like, how long did it go from when it happened to when you wrote the letter to him?
My father was killed when I was 7 years old. So we haven't talked about him as a family or anything for probably over 25, 26 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So he just randomly came up, and I had to go back and heal that 7-year-old girl who waited for her dad to come home, because my dad told me that he'll teach me how to ride a bike when he came home. And he never did. So to me, death is, I don't know when I'm going to die. We don't know when. So to me I'm not afraid of death. And I'm here to do my work. And how can I help others to forgive, to live? Because that forgiveness freed me. It helped me.
That's great. So talk to the jail that you were kind of in for those 25 years, and how did it weigh you down? How did it change who you were?
I had to hide my feelings. There, in the Cambodia community, we didn't have any therapy for after my dad passed away. We had to just learn to comfort ourselves. I remember going, when my dad passed away, I remember going into his room, just laying on his bed, sniffing his pillow, like to get his sense of, remembering him. Mm-hmm. And pushing down that feelings, because when I went out into my house, You know, I see my mom crying and stuff, and it's like I couldn't, I couldn't, I couldn't show that because she needed more help than me.
That's a tough burden for a 7-year-old child to wear.
Yeah. So to me is like Desmond Tutu. He said, "Without forgiveness, there's no future," and I believe that. It freed me. It freed me to be who I am today. It freed me to find that pain. That pain was actually my gift. You know, I thank the man that killed my father and said, "You writing you awakened that soul in me. It made me do the work of finding who I am and why am I here and what's next in life for me."
So what got you through to the point where you wanted to write that letter and actually forgive him? Like, what were some of the steps? You probably tried a lot of things, a lot of failures, a lot of self-doubt. What led you to say, I'm going to, like, what 3 to 5 steps did you take to give yourself the courage to write him that letter?
Going back to that 7-year-old girl and giving her that love and support, and that telling her that it's okay, you'll be all right, and that it's okay to cry. It's, you know, yeah.
Well, it's okay. It's okay to be at a loss of words too, right? I mean, you're doing great. It's okay to show emotion. What sparked that though? Was it you read a book, you watched the video, you had a conversation? Like, what started you down this path that is different, right? This is not what most people do. So this is great. I mean, I think to be on a mission and be able to spread forgiveness and spread healing is a great one, because people carry this inside them forever, right? I mean, it's great that it may have taken you 25 years to get it out, but it's out now. You know, for a lot of people, they just live with that for their entire life. So you were on that journey, but then took a detour and you said, no, wait, what if I forgave this person? What if I wrote? So that step, like, what was the thing that made you shift? Was it a video you watched or a book or conversation that started you down this alternate, weird, different path?
I watch a lot of Oprah. I love Oprah.
Okay.
And I think I came across your videos and I was still wondering, like, what is my why? Like, why am I here? And I just kept on asking me that question, like, what is my deeper purpose here? There's more to me. Those videos of Oprah's and just Thich Nhat Hanh, healing the inner child. My stepfather, my father-in-law, gifted me that book, and I was like, my childhood was fine. I had a good childhood. There was nothing wrong. And little did I know that after reading that book, I was like, oh, there's some issues and pain that I didn't touch on.
Mm-hmm. So everything you've just shared is a process of what you now need to keep sharing more of. There's a lot of people who will see themselves in you, whether it's having as traumatic a story as you, as, you know, this guy killed my father, but everybody's had some kind of trauma. Everybody's held on to negativity and hatred and don't want to forgive people for silly things, like that person never paid me back the $20 that I lent them, you know, and like that's what they're holding on to, and that's poisoning themselves, right? Mm-hmm. So sharing your story and hearing what you went through and hearing how you healed yourself, and why I was asking for specific steps is because those steps that you went through, you can teach to other people so they can get there faster. Mm-hmm. You might have seen it as not as like super important steps, but that's a recipe that other people can follow. Mm-hmm. And you can lay out specifically, you know, like Oprah videos, great. Which videos? If there are videos from my channel, awesome. Which videos? If there's the book from your father-in-law, awesome. What other books, and what did you take from it? And when you're reading, if you're reading the Thich Nhat Hanh book, and it's talking about healing your inner child or your younger version of you, what would you say I need to think about before I read the book, right? And so what you're doing is basically giving permission for people to feel a different way, because you've gone through it and you changed how you felt. There's still a lot of people who feel like, hey, no, that person did do me wrong, and so I'm going to, hold on to this anger for the rest of my life. Or no, it is wrong to cry and show emotion, and that's not strength. And so in you sharing it, you're putting your foot in the door and saying, no, hey, listen, there's another path. You can go this way. And so those specifics matter. How you changed course matters. And then that could be a recipe that you can go and teach other people how to do it as well. And that will fill you up. Like the amount of joy that you've gotten from this one interaction, just unburdening yourself to now be free finally, after 25 years. And you still have a long life ahead of you, right? I mean, imagine carrying it for another 50 years, which is what most people would do, that you've unburdened yourself. But to help other people unburden themselves from hurt that's been caused to them, intentionally or unintentionally, but they still carry that hurt with them for years to come. Like your story will be an inspiration to others.
Oof. Yes, you're right.
So it's sharing now, right? So it's sharing the different versions of yourself. It's talking about the conversation. Like, I would love to see you make a video talking to your 7-year-old self. Mm-hmm. Like, what would you now go back and tell your 7-year-old self? Well, let's do it. Like, have a 2-minute conversation with 7-year-old self. What would you tell her?
I would tell her, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel that pain. It's okay to share it with others, and to not hold it onto yourself, to not bury that pain that goes on for years and years and years, to let go, to forgive yourself, to be gentle, to be kind, to get up and keep moving. Keep moving forward. It's okay. Don't doubt yourself.
It's great. But that's the kind of content, right? If you and it's very emotionally charged, which is great, because that's where you want to be. You don't want that conversation to be, just it's okay. Just be happy. Just forgive yourself. Like the tone is totally different, right? You can tell that it means something a lot for you. And so I would love to see you creating that kind of content that then people will come to you as an inspiration to say, well, I hear what you're saying, but I don't know how to do it. I hear what you're saying, but that person beat me every day for 5 years. I don't know how to forgive them, but I want to. How do I do it? And helping them through that will be the thing that fills you up. Like letting people get rid of and unburden themselves from this negativity, this toxin inside them, really will be the thing that you'll love doing forever. You'll be 120 years old and still love doing it and helping people, even if you're sitting in a wheelchair, and it'd be like still your favorite thing of all time. But how do you get those people to find you? Well, you have to start creating content. You got to start putting the story out there so that people can find it. So how often are you, like, what's your plan now? What are you doing? Are you posting? Are you creating content? What's your game plan? Where are we at?
Well, I just started your class in the Movement Makers, so now I'm thinking about creating more content, and I haven't been consistent, but to get over my fears of just speaking right here, public speaking,
you're doing it. Hey, it's happening.
Yeah, to get, I want to be a better speaker so I can just freely talk, and to, 'cause sometimes I feel like my emotions are just too strong, and like, I don't know, like, do I tame that emotion down or just let it come out? I have no idea. I don't.
No, you lean into it. You for sure lean into it. Like your emotions are your superpower. It makes you connect. It makes, obviously nerves are one thing, and that gets better with practice. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get. But I think a good rule of thumb is whenever you're feeling emotional, this is what I'll teach people. Whenever you're feeling emotional, film.
Film?
Film. Like take out your phone and film something. And the words won't be perfect, but the emotion behind the words are way more important than the actual words. Because your goal is to make people feel a different way. And if you're not feeling it, they won't feel it either, even if you have the perfect words. So it's okay if you have to take a pause to catch your breath, if you have to take a pause to just calm down a little bit. Or if in the middle of making a video, you just start crying. I mean, that's okay. People can connect. And so anytime you're feeling emotional, I'd say get out the camera and film. And it doesn't only have to be sad. It could be good. It could be happy. It could be amazing. It could be, you find out that the guy who killed your father is getting out of jail next year. Most people would be horrified by that. Like most families would try to go fight it and say, no, he deserves another 25 years in jail. He shouldn't be letting out. Meanwhile, you're here cheering for him to get out earlier, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's
yes.
weird.
Yes.
And then you want to help him when he's back out of prison and help him get his, life together. I mean, that's not normal, which is great.
Yeah, I want people to hear his story about how this story, impacted his life and what he'd been in prison for, and to, I'm curious, like, yeah, how was prison and how did you deal with, the guilt and shame of killing my father that you had to carry on? Like, how did you, what were your tools that helped you move on and be the man you are today? Because he's a changed person. He's not that little 18-year-old boy that, was stupid and made a really bad choice.
I like it. You can have a weekly show with him on Instagram when he gets out for people to follow along the journey. But until then, it's thinking about what's a daily piece of content that you can put up, not being so attached to being perfect, because you'll find your flow as you do it. But if it's a daily video message to your 7-year-old self, to your 15-year-old self or 27-year-old self, or like think about different moments back when maybe you needed somebody to hold your hand or to give you a hug that you didn't have. And so you're going to be that person. Because in channeling that, there's lots of people who are currently that, right? And they may not be 7, maybe they're 45 and they still need the hug that 7-year-old you needed. And so I'd be making a video a day with your message.
Okay.
One video a day with your message. And what you just did here, when I said, hey, talk to your 7-year-old self, you probably don't even remember what you said, right?
Yeah, I
and that's okay. Like, that's what I want you to do. I want you to flow with it instead of spending 3 hours writing out the perfect script and then trying to memorize what you said. Because this is where people then get in trouble in making video content, is they want it to be perfect. And so they write out this giant script, and then you're either like reading it and you can tell you're reading it, or you're trying to memorize it and it doesn't come across because you're thinking about what the word is next.
So
where
true.
There it is.
I just did what you said. I did, but I didn't go to my notes here. I just
Yeah. And so I just want you can practice today, and then just basically practice every day, is do a new video, and I just close my eyes and just think about a version of you, 7-year-old, 14-year-old, 25, like whatever comes. For whatever reason, like you're thinking about a past version of you, maybe it's a you from yesterday, and maybe you still need a hug, and maybe there's still moments where you doubt yourself, and still moments where you're not as courageous as you want to be, or not as brave as you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so you still need the message, and you still need the hug. And you just pick a version of you from the past 25 years. You got a lot of timelines to kind of pick from, whether it's like, you know, prom night and your dad couldn't drive you, or whatever memories kind of come up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you close your eyes and just feel that version of you. And then you open your eyes and you press record, and you just talk to that girl or that woman.
Wow.
And whatever comes. Again, like, don't judge it. If you cry, great. And it could be happy moments. Like doing this might have been, I don't know what the day was like before here, where you saw this in the calendar. And if you were nervous about, okay, I'm going to do something like this, right? Maybe after this, you're like, I just did that. Holy cow, that was awesome. I just did my first live. This is amazing, right?
Yes.
And so you channel that. Like, it doesn't only have to be a sad message or sad emotions. It could be, look at what you did. Look at how great you are. Look at what you're capable of. I can't believe we just did that, right? Like, high five yourself.
High five, yay.
High five yourself. And so when you're feeling those kind of emotions, then you film. So just every day, this doesn't have to take half an hour to do, right? This is like a 5-minute thing every day. You've got 5 minutes every day. Close your eyes, channel a younger version of you, and then open your eyes and just speak to that woman. And whatever comes out, and then you press post, and don't judge it. Don't like watch it back 400 times and say, oh my God, I stumbled there, or is that a piece of spinach in my teeth, or whatever. Like, post it. and then move on to the next one, because in that process, one, you'll get a lot better, right? I mean, the more you do, the better you get. You know, every time you do it. If you're only doing it once a month, you're just never going to get good at it. Okay. And doing it every day, you know, 3 or 5 minute video, you'll get really good at it. And two, what you'll do is start to actually be that inspiration, so that other people, because this joy and again, lifting of the burden that you feel, you want to gift to other people as well, because there's a lot of pain out there. And you know, the step one is forgiveness, right? Like, step one to solving that pain is forgiving others and forgiving ourselves for how we handled it, right? So if you're the forgiveness queen and helping us unburden ourselves, you sharing every day will one day at a time inspire more people to think, maybe I should forgive that person in my life as well. Maybe they deserve that. Maybe I deserve that. And like, the one-off may not do it, but every day, seeing you do this every day, another message every day, you start to break down those really hard walls, those really hard resistances that people throw up because they don't want to share, you know, what they're actually feeling. So that's why the consistency matters, because you never know who you're going to hit at the right moment, at the right time. You're going to be like that book that your father-in-law gave you, you know, you're going to be that person for many people. But you have to write the book, right? Which is, in your case, you got to make the videos.
Yes.
You got to because if Thich Nhat Hanh just kept that message to himself and never shared it, you wouldn't have gotten the book. No, you're right. Your life wouldn't have changed. And so that's like, every video is like your own little book getting out there that could inspire somebody to make a change in their life too. Wow.
Whew, this is what I needed to hear. Like, just more clarity. I just picked up your book. So,
there it is.
Built to Serve. I just picked it up, and I'm so excited to get, you know, just reading the couple pages gave me clarity already of who I am. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see who I become a year from now, even a month from now. So I'm very grateful that you have this movement maker class that, change is, it feels so good to be in a group of people that are just motivating and inspiring and just helping each other out. And this is what I needed to move forward. So thank you so much.
Cool. Well, it's amazing to have you. And I would make your first video right after this. It's like, we're going to press end, and then you're going to go make your own first video and post it.
Okay.
So you keep the energy going, like whatever energy you're getting from this, whatever you're feeling, gratitude, excitement, joy, anger, whatever you're feeling, probably not anger, but whatever you're feeling come out of this, like, don't wait until tomorrow to do your next one. Like, carry that energy right away, make your first video and post it. And then schedule in your calendar every day that you're going to make a video.
All right.
We're all going to follow your progress.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Much love. Happy
All right,
recording.
thank you.
We're
See
all
ya.
watching.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.